Hey guys, so this is where I left off on the abandoned tracks last September. I believe it was right around September 13th or so. I knew it was a day or two before hunting season, and I had said I don't want to walk out here. Even if I'm wearing orange, I don't want to be out here during hunting season. So I started on the rail trails. So this is a snowmobile trail. They call this Corridor 19. It is a recreational trail. I don't know how many people actually walk it. I know a few people that have. Take some pictures. And I don't know what the plans for this are. I know these tracks haven't seen a train. I think, I hear different things. Late 50s, sometime in the 60s. And then they went through the abandonment process at some point, which is why it's owned by the state. And it is primarily a snowmobile trail. But yeah, it's so beautiful right now. I just wanted to revisit. And yeah, that bridge was the last. You'd have to go back and find the video. I believe it was around September 13th, 14th, something like that. I know it was just before hunting season. So, just a short walk today, maybe half mile, 3/4, something like that. Just wanted to get back out here. It looks so nice now that it's open. See, a lot of these railroad ties are just gone, just completely rotted, disappeared. They cut this down. Of course, they have to maintain it. Don't anybody getting hurt out here. So what this does, it goes up around the Silver Lake. Oh, we have a nail. It's 30 something. It's kind of squashed. This one's bent upside down, but I think that's a 38. Another bent nail. That is, boy, maybe 50 something, 52. It's funny seeing them like that. Just totally bent, damaged. What we got here? 49. I don't see those too often. These bent nails. Maybe this was the new guy that day. He didn't know what he was doing. This one's totally scratched out. That one don't have a head on it. What we got here? I have to guess. That looks like a 38. That one's kind of scratched out. 52. Look at that. So that was, obviously, if you see something in the 50s, it was one of the last nails placed here. Because again, if this was done by late 50s, early 60s something, there's a 50 right there. I know the word abandoned is really controversial to some. There's a 42, and we talked about why the heads of those are so small. But they did go through the abandonment process. Like I said, that's why these are mainly maintained by the snowmobile clubs. That's who does a lot of the work here. And I know the guys from the Cotton Valley Club. They do a lot of this too. There's a really nice 50. That really stands out. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. There's another bent one. New guy. Let's see. There's a 41. Pretty big nail head there. This is a smaller one. 44. So you got 42, 43, 44. The heads, the overall size of the nail is about half of what the other ones were. That was like a wartime situation. So they were saving on metal. So they made those ones a lot smaller. Doesn't seem like much, but I mean, when you're producing millions of them, I mean, you're saving quite a bit. So many So many bent nails. That dude was fired day one, guaranteed. There's a nice 41. And again, they're not usually on every tie, but I'm seeing a lot of them here. But a lot of the numbers are kind of scratched out. Another bent one. He's just having a bad day. Here's a 44. So yeah, mostly what we're seeing here is 40s and 50s. So they would have been some of the last ones. Well, just as I say that, we've got a 34. Nice. Because these would have been replaced probably, I don't know, every 25, 30 years or so. That might be about the standard today. They might last a little longer, I'm not sure. I guess depending on what part of the country you're in, what the climate's like. There's another 34. So yeah, now we got a couple in the 30s. And that one is a lot more solid than most of them you're seeing. So they do last a long time. Some. This one is, that also looks like so no, we're seeing a lot of 30. That looks like a 34 too. And we got a 41. This is just a totally random video. I did started on the Wyndham Rail Trail. There's 35. I don't see those too often. Started on that yesterday, and I didn't want to do any more. I didn't want to go back today. I'll do that next week. That's a 34. Kind of bent. Another bent. I don't know if those are bent because someone tried pulling them and they couldn't. They're not that hard to do, actually. Although I'm not doing that today. I'm just looking. Look at another one bent. This one's scratched out. Wow. Yep. I'll just keep this rolling. I won't cut anything. I'll just... The 50s I've seen. Those are actually in really good condition. I haven't seen any posts over here. Of course, the only crossing would be the one I just came from, sort of. Next one, I don't know, because this goes along 16 and it goes around. But it just, you know, the way it looks right now with the colors and everything, I just think, I don't know, something about it. Because this will all be grown over. Most of it will be. You won't see anything in another couple of weeks here. You won't see much anyway. And that's what makes it difficult. It's hard to walk, obviously, when you can't see what you're stepping on. Especially when you get situations like these. And you get washouts here and there. Like the dirt between the tires will be totally washed out. So you got to be really careful. I would think even for snowmobiles. Looks like a survey marker there. Looks like a newer one. Oh, I got some hikers up here, it looks like. Good to know I'm not alone. Oh, they just went off. So yeah, right here we'll show you the trails here. And just some information if anybody gets hurt in the trail, things like that. New Hampshire Department of Safety, Emergency Services. So that's cool. They put the signage along the way for you. Those aren't, I don't think those are too far apart. So, yeah, this is just going to be one continuous video because I'm just walking right up to here. It comes out at the McDonald's in Ossipee. Just wanted to make a short video before it starts raining again. Which it will. I think I complain about the rain every video now. But we're getting there. Yep, I'm just about to where I'm gonna step off here. I don't know if I can see any Any dates on these rails? I don't know. Well, that one dips down pretty good right there. Yeah, just surrounded by water here for the most part. Another nail, but I don't think I can read that one. Okay, there's an opening right here. That's why I walked up. And that's where those other people were walking. I just walked down. That one's opened right up. Well, so far the rain's holding off. So I'm not sure if I'll keep walking or not. All right, so I'm going to continue a little bit because I know there's a crossing right up here. And I'll just stop there. Might as well go the whole way. There's a whistle post. Look at that. Beautiful. Got some moss on it, but it looks cool like that. Oh, looks like we got some switch action here. What do we got? Oh, yeah, there's a switch right there. This may be a snowmobile trail here. Yep, look at that. It's kind of hidden, but we see, you can see the switch. Let's go over here and look. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a lot bigger than I normally see them. Well, of course there's been some kind of a flag up there. Ooh. Nice. Yeah, look at that. Just to show you how old these tracks are. That's some kind of a, someone described that to me as like a battery box. To show you how old these tracks are. These are going off, but there's trees growing through them. I don't know how long it takes trees to grow that size. It's been a bit though. It's been a while. Let's go over there. Let's take a look at these. Oh yeah. Growing right inside there. Wow. And those are totally popped up by the roots. Look at that. So the rail is like into the railroad ties right there. This one here. And we actually have a nail down there. It's a 32. You can see it's about 5-6 inches off the ground right there. So which ones am I going to follow? So when I usually have this situation, this is a good call because you're right in the center. So it kind of creates its own trail. What we got laying over here? Just some more rail. Look at that. And you can see it splitting off. Again, tracks to nowhere. Today they're to nowhere. There's something else out there. Oh, some more railroad ties laying there too. Wow. See how it's already growing in now here? You can see more of the roots where these are being buckled. Those railroad ties are popping right up. So, I don't know. You get a tree that's 40, 50, 60 feet tall. Anyone who knows about trees, how long does that take? Because those have been there a while. You're not going to be rolling along on these tracks. Not anymore. Oh, is this what I think it is? No, it can't be. Hold on, this doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes sense. I thought this was a turntable pit at first. That's what it looked like. But how could it be? Oh my God, I think it is. But where's the access? Over here? Okay, now I've got to see this. Is that what this is? It's a little different than what I've seen before. Because you have a pit. It's perfectly round. It's got the concrete pieces all around. This one is more, yeah, because it would have pivoted right here somewhere. See the bolts? Wow, you've got to be kidding me. I had no idea. I do look at these lists sometimes of existing, surviving. I mean, it would be a pit, not an actual turntable. But there's still pieces here, and this is huge. If that's what this was, which it's the only thing I can think that it would be, it's a lot bigger than the ones I've seen. Oh, wow. This is like stunning. I never knew. I'm glad I kept walking. Look at the size of these bolts. Look at that. So it would have pivoted. This is dead center. And years ago, they used these long, before they were electrified, these long handles, and they'd stick them in there, and they would turn the train by hand. There'd be a couple guys doing that. But I truly believe that's what this is, or was. But normally you'll see tracks leading to it. Obviously, they would have to. But look at parts of it are still here. They just collapsed. This is just absolutely stunning. Yeah, again, so the only thing I'd be confused about is I'm wondering, was this, if this was a turntable, was that abandoned before these tracks were added? Because you would normally see there would have to be a set of tracks going into the pit, right? It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only way. It's the only way for a train to roll onto there. So I don't know if that's what that was. It looks like it to me. Maybe there was another set of tracks that went in through here. Like I said, you know, before these, because these don't break off. They just keep going through here. Or maybe there was some tracks that were coming off of here somehow, along here. I don't know, because that is elevated right there. There's like another pit, or not a pit, but I'm confused. You gotta have a set of tracks going to the pit, or the turntable. So I'm not exactly sure what is going on there, but that is really cool, man. I think our crossing is right here. Yep. I don't want to go through someone's property, someone's yard. There's another switch way back here. Yeah, good look at this one. Wow, this is just gonna be a stupid random video, and well, maybe random, not so stupid. Yeah, look at this. Okay, so that's a different company. Ramapo, Ajax Corp, Hillburn, New York. Or it still says Raycor on it. And we have a signal here. This one was yellow. See this flag? I think I'm pretty sure these only had colors on them, not new lettering or anything. Yeah, I'll have to figure that one out. I'll have to research the remaining turntables. You can look it up for New Hampshire. There's not that many. There's not that many pits. There's the one at Turntable Park in Sanbornville / Wakefield, but that one was donated. There was one in Rochester, which is now right by the KFC. I believe that pit is still there, but it's filled in with something. There was a roundhouse there. But this one I didn't know about, or I just didn't know where, and I wasn't really paying attention. But just to run into it like that, like I said, I'm glad I kept walking now. Soon, I'm not gonna be able to see anything here anyway. But that is crazy. I can't believe I just saw that. Totally unexpected. That made my day. But again, I'm still trying to figure how that would have worked, because the tracks go past it. Usually you'll see the tracks, they would have broken off and gone right to the pit, which, you know, obvious. But I'm kind of curious. Let me look over here. I'm wondering, it must have been something that predated these, because it didn't cross here. You see all those railroad ties right there. Wow. Yeah, because this was part of the structure. These aren't just your average railroad ties. There's bolts in these. There's not spikes. You can see them laying up on the edges there. So it looks like maybe something came off right there. That looks more flat, where it would have entered right there. Let's try to make some sense of this. Let's investigate. I mean, I'm already here. But I will research that. I don't recall. So this is kind of elevated here. Yeah, I think there were some other tracks that predate what was there, because this is kind of flat here. This is elevated coming through here. But again, all the trees are growing in. Everything is just so different. I mean, how would I know? I'd have to see some old photos. But that's what this has to be. It's just, I almost speechless, which is tough for me. There's a road, a path going back here. So maybe, I don't know if there would have been tracks right there though. It doesn't make any sense because it's so much lower. See what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Well, anybody sees this video and you have the info, I'll research it anyway. But yeah, this turned out to be a much more exciting video than I thought it would be. Look at that. Much bigger around than the ones I've seen. Anyway, I guess that'll do it from Ossipee on the abandoned tracks and a possible train turntable. Leave some comments for me. I know there's a couple people that comment on my videos that know a lot of this stuff. Very smart when it comes to railroad too. They just know all this stuff. But yeah, and I'll also do some research, and I will see you guys soon.